ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and all who have come here with hearts open to truth. I stand before you today not as someone who has everything to offer, but as someone who has lived, breathed, and embraced the essence of what it means to act as if you have nothing to lose. This is a message not simply rooted in motivation, but in the timeless principles that are woven into the fabric of our very existence. You see, the vast majority of us live under the constant shadow of fear. It's the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of losing what we think we have. And above all, the fear of stepping out into the unknown. This fear paralyzes us. It cripples our potential. It blinds us to the truth of who we really are. But today I want to remind you that the key to true success, the key to unlocking everything you were meant to be, lies in one simple shift: the decision to act as if you have absolutely nothing to lose. Why do we live so cautiously? Why do we hide behind our fears, behind our insecurities, and behind the limitations we've accepted as truth? It's because we've bought into the idea that life is a game of preservation. We've been taught to protect what we have, to guard our territory, to secure our futures at all costs. But let me tell you something. Life was never designed for preservation. Life was designed for expansion, for growth, for abundance. The moment you start living to preserve, you start dying. The moment you begin to act out of fear of losing, you've already lost the game. There is an intrinsic law, an unbreakable principle that governs the universe. What you hold on to so tightly, you will lose. The things you cling to out of fear, you will eventually see slip through your fingers like grains of sand. Why? Because fear is not a foundation upon which life can flourish. Fear is the enemy of faith, the enemy of growth, the enemy of everything that leads to true fulfillment. Think about it for a moment. How many opportunities have passed you by because you were afraid of what might happen if you stepped out of your comfort zone? How many dreams have you sacrificed on the altar of security and safety? How many relationships have you let wither away because you were too afraid to risk vulnerability? My friends, acting as if you have nothing to lose is not a reckless abandonment of wisdom. It is not an invitation to throw caution to the wind and disregard common sense. No, it is something far more profound. It is the realization that everything you need is already within you, and that the only thing standing between you and the life you were born to live is the fear of losing what you think you cannot afford to live without. The irony is that the more we fear losing something, the more we live in bondage to it. Fear of losing money, fear of losing status, fear of losing approval from others. These fears shackle us, chaining us to lives of mediocrity and unfulfilled potential. But I challenge you today, right here, right now, to break those chains. I challenge you to step into a new reality, a reality where fear has no place. A reality where you walk boldly, confidently, and with the assurance that no matter what happens, you are never truly losing anything. You are only gaining new experiences, new wisdom, new perspectives, and new opportunities for growth. Let me tell you a truth that many people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. You own nothing. The money in your bank account, the title on your office door, the relationships you hold dear, none of these things belong to you. They are all temporary. They are all passing through your hands like water. And the sooner you realize this, the sooner you will begin to live with true freedom. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are not discarding the value of the things in your life. Rather, you are elevating the value of your purpose, your mission, and you're calling above the temporary distractions of this world. You are choosing to prioritize what is eternal over what is fleeting. And in doing so, you free yourself from the prison of fear that holds so many captive. Boldness is not arrogance. Boldness is not recklessness. Boldness is clarity of purpose and the willingness to pursue it, no matter what stands in your way. It is the understanding that the only limits in this life are the ones you impose on yourself. And when you choose to act as if you have nothing to lose, you remove those limits. History is filled with examples of men and women who have dared to act as if they had nothing to lose. They are the pioneers, the trailblazers, the innovators who have reshaped the world because they refuse to be confined by fear. They understood that greatness is not achieved by playing it safe. Greatness is the result of stepping out into the unknown, embracing uncertainty, and trusting that what lies on the other side of risk is far greater than what you leave behind. Take, for example, the story of a man who risked everything to stand for what he believed in. He was told that he would lose his reputation, his status, his wealth, everything he had worked for his entire life. And yet, he chose to act as if he had nothing to lose. He stood firm in his convictions, and though he faced great opposition, he emerged victorious because he understood that his value was not in what he owned, but in who he was. This is the kind of boldness I'm talking about. The kind of boldness that says, I will not be defined by my fear. I will not be confined by my insecurities. I will not be limited by what others think I can or cannot do. The kind of boldness that dares to dream, dares to take risks, and dares to live life fully with no reservations. Growth does not happen in the comfort zone. Growth happens in the space between what you know and what you are willing to risk. The truth is, if you are not risking anything, you are not growing. If you are not putting something on the line, you are stagnating. When I talk about acting as if you have nothing to lose, I am not suggesting that you become reckless or careless. I am talking about a conscious decision to pursue growth at all costs. A decision to prioritize progress over perfection. A decision to embrace failure as a necessary step on the path to success. Too often we shy away from risks because we fear failure. We have been conditioned to believe that failure is something to be avoided at all costs, that it is a sign of weakness or inadequacy. But let me tell you something, failure is not the enemy. In fact, failure is one of your greatest allies. Failure is the catalyst for growth. Failure is the teacher that refines you, sharpens you, and prepares you for the next level. Every great achievement in history is the result of someone who was willing to fail. Every invention, every breakthrough, every revolution was born out of someone who was willing to risk everything for the sake of something greater. They were not afraid to lose because they understood that what they were risking paled in comparison to what they stood to gain. And so I ask you today, what are you willing to risk for the sake of your growth? What are you willing to put on the line for the sake of your purpose? What are you willing to let go of in order to step into the fullness of who you were created to be? We live in a world that is obsessed with security. We are constantly seeking ways to protect ourselves from harm, from loss, from discomfort. We build walls around our hearts, our minds, our lives, all in an effort to feel safe. But the truth is, there is no such thing as security. Security is an illusion, a figment of our imagination that we cling to in order to avoid facing the reality of life's uncertainties. Think about it. The very things we strive to protect ourselves from failure, loss, rejection are the very things that have the potential to teach us the most valuable lessons. The greatest breakthroughs often come on the other side of the greatest challenges. The most profound growth often comes from the deepest struggles. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are choosing to embrace the uncertainty of life. You are choosing to trust that no matter what happens, you will be okay. You are choosing to believe that your value is not tied to your circumstances, but to something far greater, your purpose, your mission, your calling. And when you embrace this mindset, you will begin to see life in a whole new way. You will no longer be bound by the need for security, because you will understand that true security comes from within. True security is knowing that no matter what happens externally, you are grounded in something unshakable, something eternal. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are giving yourself the gift of freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from insecurity. Freedom from the need for approval from others. You are giving yourself permission to live fully, boldly, and unapologetically. This freedom I speak of is a freedom that transcends the ordinary. It is a freedom rooted in the deep understanding that you were never meant to live small. You were never meant to be confined by the limitations of this world. You were meant to live in the fullness of your purpose, in the fullness of your potential, without being shackled by the fear of loss or the illusion of security. But here's the catch: this kind of freedom comes at a price. And that price is the willingness to let go of everything you think you need in order to live the life you were destined to live. It's the willingness to release the need for control, the need for certainty, and the need for approval from others. Let me explain. One of the most profound truths you can ever embrace in this life is the power of letting go. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it is one of the greatest acts of strength you can ever demonstrate. It is the realization that holding on to something, whether it be a relationship, a career, a belief, or a fear, does not make you stronger. It makes you more vulnerable to disappointment and defeat. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are choosing to let go of the things that no longer serve you. You are choosing to release the attachments that keep you from stepping into your true power. You are choosing to surrender the false sense of control that you have been clinging to, and instead you are embracing the reality that true power comes from trust. Trust in what? Trust in your purpose. Trust in the process. Trust in the fact that everything in your life, whether good or bad, is happening for your growth, for your benefit, for your evolution. Trust in the divine plan that has been set for you since the beginning of time. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are saying, I trust that no matter what happens, I will be okay. You are declaring that your value, your worth, your identity is not tied to the external circumstances of your life, but to something far deeper, something far more enduring. Letting go doesn't mean that you stop caring. It doesn't mean that you abandon your dreams or your responsibilities. No, letting go means that you release the need to control the outcome. It means that you stop trying to force things to happen in the way you think they should, and instead allow life to unfold in its own perfect timing. How many of us have spent sleepless nights worrying about things we have no control over? How many of us have wasted precious energy trying to manipulate situations to fit our own narrow vision of what success looks like? And yet, the more we try to control, the more we find ourselves stuck, frustrated, and exhausted. The act of letting go is not an act of giving up. It is an act of faith. It is an acknowledgement that despite our best efforts, we cannot always see the full picture. It is a humble admission that there is a greater force at work in our lives, guiding us, directing us, and leading us toward our highest good. Another aspect of acting as if you have nothing to lose is living without the need for approval. One of the greatest barriers to success, one of the greatest obstacles to living a life of purpose is the constant need for validation from others. We live in a world that is obsessed with approval, approval from family, approval from friends, approval from society at large. But let me tell you something, the moment you start living for the approval of others, you have already lost your way. The moment you start basing your decisions on what others will think or say, you have forfeited your freedom. You cannot live your life trying to please everyone. You cannot fulfill your purpose if you are constantly seeking validation from others. Why? Because people's opinions are fleeting. One moment they may applaud you, and the next moment they may criticize you. If your sense of self-worth is tied to the approval of others, you will find yourself on an emotional roller coaster, constantly chasing after validation that will never truly satisfy. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are choosing to live from a place of authenticity rather than from a place of approval seeking. You are choosing to be true to yourself, to your values, and to your vision, even if it means standing alone. The truth is, not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will support your vision. And that's okay. Your purpose is not for everyone. Your mission in life is not to please everyone. Your mission is to be true to the calling that has been placed on your heart, even if it means walking a path that others do not understand. There will always be people who doubt you, people who criticize you, people who try to bring you down. But when you act as if you have nothing to lose, their opinions hold no power over you. You are not swayed by their judgments because you are anchored in something deeper, something unshakable. Acting as if you have nothing to lose also means embracing vulnerability. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. But in reality, vulnerability is one of the greatest sources of strength you can ever tap into. You see, vulnerability is not about exposing your weaknesses. It's about having the courage to be real, to be authentic, to show up in the world exactly as you are, without pretense, without masks, without fear of rejection. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are giving yourself permission to be vulnerable. You are giving yourself permission to take risks, to step outside of your comfort zone, to open yourself up to new possibilities, even if it means facing the possibility of failure. Too many of us spend our lives trying to protect ourselves from failure, from disappointment, from rejection. We build walls around our hearts, walls around our dreams, walls around our potential, all in an effort to avoid getting hurt. But the truth is, those walls do not protect us, they imprison us. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you tear down those walls. You open yourself up to the fullness of life, to the fullness of possibility. Yes, it may be scary. Yes, it may be uncomfortable. But it is only in the act of vulnerability that we experience true connection, true growth, and true fulfillment. I mentioned earlier that failure is one of the greatest teachers in life, and I want to expand on that idea because it is so critical to understanding the mindset of acting as if you have nothing to lose. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of the journey towards success. Every great success story is filled with moments of failure, moments of setback, moments of disappointment. But what sets apart those who succeed from those who give up is the willingness to keep going, the willingness to learn from failure, the willingness to act as if they have nothing to lose. The fear of failure keeps so many people from even trying. It keeps them stuck in a life of mediocrity, never daring to reach for something greater because they are too afraid of what might happen if they fail. But let me tell you something, the only true failure in life is the failure to try. The only true loss is the loss of potential, the loss of opportunity that comes when you choose to stay within the confines of your fear rather than stepping out into the unknown. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you embrace failure as a part of the process. You understand that failure is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed. Every failure is a stepping stone, a lesson, an opportunity for growth. Every failure brings you one step closer to the success that you seek. So I ask you today, what are you willing to fail for? What dream is so important to you that you are willing to risk failure in order to achieve it? What calling is so powerful that you are willing to act as if you have nothing to lose in the pursuit of it? One of the biggest lies that society tells us is that we need to be perfect in order to succeed. We are bombarded with images of perfection, perfect bodies, perfect careers, perfect relationships, and we internalize the message that if we are not perfect, we are somehow unworthy or undeserving of success. But the truth is, perfection is a myth. It is an illusion that keeps us trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and self-sabotage. Perfection is not the goal. Growth is the goal. Progress is the goal. Evolution is the goal. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you free yourself from the pressure to be perfect. You give yourself permission to be a work in progress, to make mistakes, to learn, to grow. You understand that success is not about achieving a state of perfection. It is about the continuous journey of becoming the best version of yourself. Perfection is stagnation. Perfection is the enemy of progress. If you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect conditions, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. Acting as if you have nothing to lose means stepping out in faith, even when things aren't perfect. It means taking action, even when you don't have all the answers. It means trusting that the process will reveal the path as you walk it, and that you will learn and grow along the way. Acting as if you have nothing to lose requires an unshakable faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your purpose, and faith in something greater than yourself. Faith is the foundation upon which this entire mindset is built. Faith is not blind optimism. It is not wishful thinking. Faith is the deep inner knowing that no matter what happens, you will be okay. It is the assurance that even in the face of uncertainty, you are being guided, you are being supported, and you are on the right path. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are choosing to live by faith, not by fear. You are choosing to believe that your life has meaning, that your dreams have value, and that your purpose is worth pursuing, no matter the cost. Faith is the antidote to fear. It is the force that propels you forward when everything in you wants to shrink back. It is the light that guides you through the darkest moments of your journey. Faith is the energy that fuels bold action. Without it, we are left paralyzed by uncertainty, second-guessing every decision and fearing every unknown variable. But with faith, we move forward even when the path is unclear, even when the outcome is uncertain. Faith doesn't promise a life free from challenges or setbacks, but it does promise a life lived with purpose and courage. To act as if you have nothing to lose requires an unwavering belief in the unseen. It's the belief that there is a purpose greater than your immediate circumstances, a plan greater than your current understanding. Faith is what allows you to take risks, to step out of the boat and walk on the water, knowing that even if you stumble, you will not be abandoned. Faith is not just a passive belief, it's an active, living force that compels you to move, to act, to take the next step. It's what allows you to leap when logic tells you to stay put. It's what pushes you to keep going when everyone else has given up. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are saying to the world, I trust in the process. I trust that even if I cannot see the end result, the steps I take today are leading me towards something far greater than I can imagine. But let's be clear about something. Faith is not a crutch for the lazy. It's not an excuse to sit back and wait for life to happen to you. Faith requires action. It demands that you step out in boldness, even when the outcome is uncertain. It calls you to invest in yourself, to put in the work, to make the sacrifices necessary to fulfill your purpose. Many people talk about having faith, but few are willing to act on it. Faith is tested in the actions you take when the stakes are high, when the risks are great, when the future is uncertain. Faith is proven in the moments when everything around you says no. But your inner conviction tells you to press forward anyway. So what does it mean to act as if you have nothing to lose? It means that your faith is bigger than your fear. It means that your belief in your purpose is stronger than your desire for comfort or security. It means that you trust that every step you take, every risk you embrace, every decision you make is leading you toward a future that is filled with abundance and fulfillment. Another crucial aspect of acting as if you have nothing to lose is the freedom from the fear of judgment. How many of us have held ourselves back because we were afraid of what others might think? How many dreams have died because we allowed the opinions of others to dictate our actions? When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you break free from the chains of other people's expectations. You stop living your life based on what others think is possible for you, and you start living based on what you know is possible for yourself. The truth is, no one else can see your vision as clearly as you can. No one else has been given the same calling, the same purpose, the same dreams that you have been given. And yet, so often, we allow the voices of others, whether they be friends, family, or society at large, to drown out the voice within us that is calling us to something greater. But here's what you need to understand. Other people's opinions of you are none of your business. What they think about your dreams, your decisions, your actions has absolutely no bearing on your ability to succeed. Their judgments cannot stop you unless you allow them to. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you release the need for external validation. You stop seeking approval from people who cannot see your full potential. You stop measuring your worth by how well you fit into someone else's expectations. Instead, you begin to live in alignment with your own truth, your own values, your own purpose. It's not easy to break free from the fear of judgment. We live in a world where criticism is rampant, where people are quick to tear down anyone who dares to be different, to think differently, to dream bigger. But the more you live in fear of what others might think, the more you imprison yourself in a life that is not truly your own. Remember this, the people who are most critical of you are often the ones who are most afraid of stepping out themselves. Their judgments are a reflection of their own fears, their own insecurities, their own limitations. Don't let their fear become yours. The moment you stop caring about what others think is the moment you begin to truly live. It's the moment you take ownership of your life, your choices, your future. It's the moment you step into your power and start living with the boldness and confidence that comes from knowing that you are enough just as you are. One of the most powerful fears that holds people back from acting as if they have nothing to lose is the fear of the unknown. The unknown is a place of uncertainty, of risk, of discomfort. It's a place where there are no guarantees, no clear answers, no safety nets. And yet, it is also the place where the greatest growth happens, where the most profound breakthroughs occur, where true transformation takes place. The unknown is where you find your true self. It's where you discover strengths you never knew you had, where you uncover wisdom that can only be gained through experience, where you tap into a power that comes from stepping outside of your comfort zone. But so many of us avoid the unknown because we are afraid of what might happen if we venture into uncharted territory. We stay in situations that no longer serve us, in jobs that drain us, in relationships that limit us, all because we are too afraid to take a step into the unknown. But here's the thing, the unknown is where life begins. It's where possibilities are born. It's where opportunities arise that you could never have imagined. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you embrace the unknown with open arms. You step into it with courage, with faith, with the belief that whatever lies ahead is far greater than anything you are leaving behind. Yes, the unknown can be scary, but it's also exciting. It's filled with endless potential, endless opportunities for growth, for learning, for transformation. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are saying to the world, I am not afraid of the unknown. I am not afraid of what lies ahead because I trust that I have everything within me to navigate whatever comes my way. The unknown is not your enemy, it is your greatest ally. It is the place where you will discover the depth of your potential, the breadth of your resilience, and the magnitude of your strength. It is the place where you will find the courage to become the person you were always meant to be. Living with purpose. At the core of acting as if you have nothing to lose is the understanding that your life has a purpose. You are not here by accident. You are not here to simply exist, to go through the motions, to live a life of mediocrity. You are here for a reason. You have been given gifts, talents, and abilities that are uniquely yours, and it is your responsibility to use them to fulfill your purpose. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are choosing to live with purpose. You are choosing to align your actions with your values, your decisions with your vision, your life with your mission. You are no longer living for the approval of others, for the accumulation of material wealth, or for the pursuit of superficial success. You are living for something deeper, something more meaningful, something that transcends the temporary distractions of this world. Living with purpose means waking up each day with a sense of clarity and direction. It means knowing that every step you take, every decision you make is moving you closer to the fulfillment of your destiny. It means refusing to settle for anything less than what you were created for. But here's the thing, living with purpose requires courage. It requires the courage to step out of the familiar, to break free from the expectations of others, and to pursue the life that you know you were meant to live. It requires the courage to act as if you have nothing to lose, because when you are living in alignment with your purpose, you understand that the only thing you truly stand to lose is the life you were never meant to live. Your purpose is not something that can be found in the opinions of others. It's not something that can be dictated by society or defined by your circumstances. Your purpose is something that comes from within, something that is deeply personal, something that is uniquely yours. And when you live with purpose, you are no longer afraid of failure. You are no longer afraid of rejection. You are no longer afraid of the unknown, because you understand that your purpose is bigger than your fear. Your purpose is bigger than any obstacle you might face. Your purpose is the driving force behind everything you do, and it is the reason why you can act as if you have nothing to lose. The power of commitment. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are making a commitment not just to yourself, but to your purpose, to your vision, to your mission. You are making a commitment to show up fully, to give your best, to pursue your goals with everything you've got, regardless of the challenges or setbacks you may encounter. Commitment is a powerful force. It's what separates those who succeed from those who give up at the first sign of difficulty. It's what keeps you going when the road gets tough, when the odds are stacked against you, when it feels like everything is working against you. But here's the thing, commitment is not just about staying the course when things are easy. It's about staying the course when things are hard, when things are uncertain, when things don't go as planned. Commitment means choosing to keep going, even when you don't have all the answers, even when the path ahead is unclear. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you are choosing to commit fully to your vision. You are choosing to stay the course, to persevere, to keep pushing forward, even when the road ahead is difficult. You are choosing to show up for yourself, for your dreams, for your purpose, no matter what. And here's the beautiful thing about commitment: when you commit fully to your vision, the universe responds. Doors begin to open, opportunities begin to arise, and people begin to show up in your life who are aligned with your purpose. Commitment is a signal to the universe that you are serious about your dreams, and when you are serious, the universe conspires to help you achieve them. Acting as if you have nothing to lose is not about being reckless or irresponsible. It's about being fully committed to living a life of purpose, a life of meaning, a life of significance. It's about being willing to take risks, to embrace failure, to step into the unknown, knowing that the only thing you truly have to lose is the life that is not in alignment with who you were created to be.